What's up, YouTube? It is time for the grand finale of the hottest of hot intermodal train series that we've been running for a while now, for a few weeks. This is video number 7, grand finale. If you're new to the series, we've been running the Q12115, the hottest of hot intermodals between Chicago and Jacksonville, Florida. It's circa 2002. And we've run this thing down the entire Fitz, the southern portion of the Jessup, and now we're on the Nahunta at Red Dog, just outside of Jacksonville. So Jacksonville is where we're going to be yarding this train and wrapping it up. But once we get down there, we got to do the grand tour. So we'll be showing you the grand tour here in a second. Here's our train. Like I said, we're at Red Dog, just north of Dinsmore. Let's hop in the cab. Let's get this window. Let's get this window open. And let's see, let's release the big brake. Independent should hold it just fine right here. It's pretty much flat. We should be good, but I'm not going to let auto do this for us. The reason being is it's kind of like a special case where we do all this stuff as far as setting out our cars at Moncrief before we go to Duval, because we're going to Duval from the south end. So we've got a coal train down here in front of us. We need to actually go get him sorted, because when I set all this up, I did not make this guy an AI recrew, which really kind of, and it sucks that you can't make it an AI recrew while you're holding on to your train. But either way, we'll relinquish our train. Let's get rid of him. And we'll AI recrew this bad boy here. This is a N171. This is a Stanton coal train. It's an Orlando empty, or empties out of Orlando. It'll be going up the Fitz, up the Atlanta side to load out. Eventually, it'll work its way up to Etowah and then finally Corbin. And then I guess it'll go east out of Corbin on the, I don't know what that line is called out of there. It has all the coal loaders and stuff like that back in the day. But either way, it's pretty cool. So yeah, we got to send him on his way. In fact, let's do that real fast. We got to make this meet. We'll cross him over at Dinsmore. Let's give him a light there and there. That should be good. And then what we'll do is we'll cross over the other way and go in at the not the JS&W. We're going to go up here at I don't know, is that Grand Junction right there? Maybe something like N171. I think that was a symbol they used on some of those Orlando trains, but don't quote me on it. I could totally be in left field. That was one that I had it in my head. It may be wrong. He's got an ace on the head end and 2-9s. For 2002 with like 99.9999999% certainty, this would have been 2 AC 4400s. Every once in a while you would see, you know, something else on it, an SD70 MAC or something like that. Maybe the SD80, what was it, the SD80 MACs that they got from Conrail or something like that. I don't think I ever had one of those. I think there was only a handful of them. But all right, yeah, we'll let this guy we'll let him pull up here and get by us at Dinsmore, and then we're about to cross over and come down here into the yard. Actually, I don't think we do cross over, right? No, we don't. We'll just go straight. Okay, yeah, we'll go straight and come in here, because if we cross over, then we're forced into going at the going in at the JS&W, and we don't necessarily want to do that, right? We don't want to do that. There we go. M171. Man, we need some straight up AC 4400s in game like no tomorrow. If there's anything that we need for the southeast routes, especially the CSX, right, it would be AC 4400s. Man, they were absolute workhorses. I don't know what the status of them are now. I know they're still around, right? But they were absolute workhorses back in the day. There were a ton of them. We were still getting new ones when I worked. I remember we got a new one that was in Yellow Nose 3. First time I ever saw a Yellow Nose 3 locomotive. I don't even remember being aware that that was going to be a thing at that time. I just got called for a coal train. We got on it and it had this locomotive with the gold yellow on it and the dark blue, and I was like, what in the blue hell is this mess? Like, we weren't fans of it, to be honest. I don't know of anyone that was like huge fan. Like, really, you didn't care in the long run. Like, who really cared? Yeah, this is pretty slick right here. I dig this, right? I wish we could do this without the cursor being in the way. Oh, that is so cool. He's moving. He's getting out of Dodge quick. This dude is not messing around, right? That's what we're going to do. Our next video, we are going to take an empty coal train. I want to do that. Empty coal trains were a blast. I loved them. They were so good to have, right? Look at it. It sounds good. That's pretty slick, guys. That's pretty slick. He's getting out of Dodge. Okay, we need to go up here to Dinsmore. And we'll wait on him to get up here to us so we can go about our business, make our set outs. So as far as our set outs, once again, and I'll put a link around here somewhere to the playlist where you can see all these videos if you'd like. But we got our tally rans on the head end. These are going to be our tally rans. We'll set them out at Moncrief. And then these are going to be our FECs all the way down to this container right here. So Florida East Coast, these flats here, and tally rans going to the port. That's what we got to set out. I'm not exactly sure how they did that. Maybe they set each one out on a different track, like they put the tally rans on one track in Moncrief and the FECs on another. That could have been one way. Maybe they did it all in just one go, right? They just set them out and let the yard jobs sort them out. That's what we're going to do. We're going to let the yard jobs sort them out. I really need the butt head pack, the MP15s or the switchers or whatever for Moncrief, because man, they were everywhere down there. Like, I won't say they were exclusively in Moncrief, but there were tons and tons and tons of those butt heads down there. It was crazy. Let's see if we can see this in train coming up here to us. No, not yet. It looks like it's pretty flat though, right? Oh, we got to grab our train. We relinquished him. There we go. Let's scooch up a little bit here. Yeah, it's a little bit hazy. A little bit hazy today, guys, so we can't see. All right, let's go ahead and put this dude in forward. We got the headlight on. Crack the throttle, come out of the independent, and let's just start easing up there just a little bit. We're going to kind of drag our feet, give him time to get up here. I really feel like they kind of held these trains out at Red Dog to keep them from blocking these crossings here if they stopped at Dinsmore. Like, if you stopped down there at Dinsmore, you would have had all these crossings tied up. And people tend to get upset about that, and some people will even pull the pin on you if they think it'll help them out. Alright, so we can say we talked to, I don't know what their yard master was called down here, if you even talked to him. Just kind of based off how I interacted with him, we can say we called mainline. We'll call him mainline yard master. And you could be like, alright, 121, start easing down to Dinsmore. We'll have you light in a second. And that would basically be it, I'm assuming. Like I said, that's just kind of the way I think it would, but that's not the gospel, right? I was looking, yeah, there he is. I can see his lights kind of peeking through the fog there, the haze. Yeah, I'm just basing it off my other experiences. Birmingham, they're called mainline. Atlanta, they were called mainline. And Waycross, I think we just called them A Tower. Yeah, I want to say we just called them A Tower. But they would kind of they would take care of your movement. Like they had to work via the dispatcher. They didn't dispatch trains on the main line, but they kind of coordinated you know, you talk to them. Every once in a while, you would talk to the dispatcher in the terminal, but not like, I don't remember doing that a whole heck of a lot. Like usually you talk to mainline and they took care of everything for you as far as getting you in and out. So we're going to kind of drag our feet and give this guy time to get through the crossover and clear. He's only going to be like 4,500 feet long. He's not going to be very long at all. There he is. All right, he's crossed over. He's in the process of it. All right, there we go for a little bit at least. Soon as he gets in the clear, we need to get ourselves a light. Like I say, we're not using auto. He's not going to have a clue how to do this. He's going to try to put us in at Dinsmore because that's the way you think they would go. Nice. Right. Let's keep easing along. He should be clearing up anytime now, I would think. In fact, looks like he's clear now. Let's double check that. Yes, he is. All right, let's give ourselves a light. On down to, I guess this is Grand Junction. Moncrief. Okay, calls it Moncrief, I guess. And we're lined in. There we go. All right, sweet. We should have a light. We should be good to go. Yes, we do have a clear. TSXQ 12115 has got a clear. Dinsmore number 2 main. 9023 south out. All right, let's get out of here. Let's blast off. Coal train looks good. Marker's hanging. Yeah, I think an empty coal train would be a lot of fun. I know someone even commented on that. They thought it'd be pretty cool. I think the one out of Stanton. We'll run one out of Stanton. We'll do about 90 cars, give or take. I'd say about 94 cars, I think, 95. And 2 aces. And I think that would be perfect. I think that's what we need to do, guys. And give her a little bit more. So it's 70 here. There's a 40 just north of, in that curve, north of Jacksonville Amtrak. And then the yard should be like 10. We'll go in on a restricting. How that should all go down, we'll see. We'll see how it works out. And then we'll make our set outs, and then we'll take the rest of our train to Duval. I'm not sure if we'll bring the power back to Moncrief or not. We may not. I wish I kept up with the time on all the videos, the total amount of time. Let's just do a rough estimate. So this is video number 7. If it was an hour each, we'd be 7 hours on duty. I know some of them went over an hour, so maybe we probably have about 8 hours in somewhere, somewhere in that area, give or take 8 hours in. Not less. That's actually pretty good for 275 miles. We did fudge a little bit on the defect detector. So we had some things go on along the way, right? We had a signal drop on us at the north end of Ideal. That took us a little bit to sort out and get through. We had dragging equipment on the defect detector at Ambrose. Now we did fudge on that because we didn't walk. We didn't actually like walk the train, right? We flew. If we'd walked the train, that would have added a good bit of time to our trip. If we'd done it legit, like the whole 9 yards, you know, but I'm not doing all that. I'm not walking, you know, 5,000 feet of train. There's no way. So, yeah. If we had done all that right, you're probably looking at 9 to 10 hours. And then we'd have to make our sit out down here and all that stuff. So it'd be almost a 12-hour day, probably. All right, there's the, this is the other way into the ramp. You see it's 10-mile-an-hour track. You go around this curve and out a little ways, and you got to cross over the NS. So I really don't know why they prefer doing it this way or why they did it this way sometimes. I just know they did it. But, you know, you would think that they could go into the yard that way at Dinsmore and just cut your bottom off in the pig yard, your Tampas and your Orlandos, and then hang on to your Talleyrand's and FECs and then just drag them around to Moncrief that way. And then you got your power there ready too. But, the only thing I can think of that they did it the other way, and sometimes there's just no rhyme or reason to this, is that one, they avoided that crossing with the NS. It could possibly or potentially be tied up, right, by the NS because their yard is just a little bit further south. It cut off that 10, but I mean, then again, we got the 10 at Honeymoon Wise, so you're not really saving anything there. So I'm assuming they did that to avoid the NS. I'm not, like, I don't know. It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Did they do it every time? Maybe not. Like I said, the railroad can always be extremely fluid as far as like how they do things. You know, they could do something one way one day and then the next day do something completely opposite. But this is the way we're doing it. It's like I was saying in the last video, I was kind of fuzzy on it. Like I thought I remembered it being that way. And then I got to second guessing myself. I was like, maybe they didn't. Maybe I'm just completely wrong because it has been over 20 years. And then I looked at train orders, of course. Look at the rail fans have to say, because sometimes they can give you some pretty good information too, as far as like what they see as far as movements. And there were some that said, yeah, they're going in and out of the south end of at Duval. So I was like, okay, well that pretty much confirms what I remember then. That pretty much confirms it. All right, a 40 and 2 miles. We'll just kind of ease along down there. All right, Moncrief Road. Another clear. I think that's South Hill, right? South Hill. It's distant to Amtrak, and then we got Amtrak, North Amtrak, South Amtrak, Grand Junction. I got to figure out like where are we going to start seeing these approaches to the restricting going into the yard. This has got a 15. So yeah, not too bad. 15 coming up in 2.9. So at this point, you could potentially talk to your yardmaster and he'd be like, hey, yeah, we're going to bring you in on X track. You're going to set your Talleyrand's and FECs over on Y track. Get your train back together and head south to the ramp. Something to that effect. TSX Q12115 has got a clear South Hill, number 2 main, 9023 south out. So I'm assuming we're going to pick up an approach at North Amtrak. R40 is going to be right up here. Next signal 1.2 miles. I just know like between South Amtrak and Moncrief is going to be a short block. Like that could be a really short block. Maybe we'll get a double approach. We're going to go ahead and start slow now because we know what we're going to be doing up here. So we could go ahead and be getting ready. I do though. I love this stretch. I said Jacksonville to Waycross. That little stretch through there, I think is like some of my favorite parts of the entire Southeast routes. It's just a quick, easy route if you need that. .457, 458, those would be good jobs to work between there and game. All right, let's see what we got coming around here. Fast approach. Okay, then approach. All right, CSX Q1 2115's got approach or advanced approach. North Amtrak, number 2 main, 9023 south out. Go ahead and hit our bell since you're going by the station here. Ah, this would be nice on some tote boats. I would love that. So I see an approach, but I don't see a restricting down there. Did we line ourselves in? Yeah, we did line ourselves in. Yeah, we did line ourselves in, so we're good with that. This XQ1 2115 has got to approach South Amtrak 9023 south out. Where is it at? There it is. Okay, it's on that side. Zero restricting right there. Pretty short block. Right? What, only 4/10 of a mile, maybe a half. I didn't see when we went by. So I mean, we literally just went by the signal, so maybe 4, maybe not even that. This would be Grand Junction. This would be the branch going out to the Kingsland sub. That would take you out to Bush Yard, eventually Yulee, Blunt Island, the power plants. That would be an awesome sub to add into the game. I would love to see that because you could have 2 power plants to serve, Cedar Bay and Power Park. You could have Blunt Island. You could have auto import-export at Blunt Island. You have the Marine Corps Logistics where they loaded ships at Blunt Island. Bush Yard, you had the Budweiser place, or whatever that beer place was out there. What else could you, like tons of industries out there, like tons and tons of it. It was busy out there. Then You could run the Fernandina rocket out that way as well too. You know, that train's changed a lot over the years, but that would be a cool one too. I think early on it went like to Yulee and out that way, and then it started stopping at it terminated at Bush. Used to be the A789 went to Bush, and the Fernandina rocket went on out to Yulee. So yeah, Kingsland sub be an awesome route. DTC. You'd send a lot of jobs and work out that way. All right, so we're gonna pull down this track. We're gonna kind of look out for these switches here. They should be good. They should all be good. Looks like it. Yard track, I would say it'd be about 10 mile an hour. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna keep it around 10. Let's keep easing down here. So yeah, we'll pull down here to the other end. We'll make this set out. We'll get our train back together, and then we'll head to the ramp. It should be about 1,000 feet we're setting out. See over here to the right, it's going to be the FGE yard, the Fruit Growers Express. If you remember the solid cold or the solid gold cars, then that would be them. That was their big program back in the day. To me, like the solid cold and the solid gold. So for clarification, solid cold would have been the reefers, solid gold would have been the RBLs, the insulated boxes that they had. But either way, those are like some super iconic old school cars from back in the day. Let me know in the comments if you guys remember the solid cold reefers from back in the day. They used to be everywhere. Like you could hardly see a train without at least one or two of them in there. Solid cold, solid gold. They had a few others called the chiller that was used to haul beer. But they had, I want to say those cars had like actual like stainless steel tanks inside them that they used to haul the beer. Like I think there was something to those cars. There weren't a lot of them. They were very rare. In fact, I don't ever remember seeing one in real life back in the day. That may have been like a St. Louis thing. There you go. Not a nice cut of auto racks over here on the side. Who are these for? TDSIJ? Yeah, that's a A7. What does that say? A7. Couldn't tell. A759 TDSIJ. I'm assuming that's the auto ramp here in Jacksonville. This is their depot tag, so I don't know what that is. Really, I don't know what that is, but I'm assuming that's the ramp here in Jacksonville. Yeah, TDSIJ. I don't know where else they could go. Honestly, I don't know if they simulate Blunt Island stuff. It's got a few empties in there, some Waycrosses mixed in. So yeah, those could route to Waycross. Those could, like back in the day in 02, those would go to Waycross on the 458. All right, just a little bit further would be good to go. Got ease down here a little further and hop off. You got Atlanta containers on the left there. Those could have been brought in. Those could be I don't know what they were really doing with these, but it could potentially be FEC cars that were brought up here by them. Yeah, I'll have to look at their tags. I don't know what the TDS IJ, the IJ is what's got me kind of thrown for a loop. All right, we gotta go a little bit further, and we're going to cut off probably just short of this switch right here, and set them. We're going to set them over on this track. Just like I was saying earlier, I don't know what the process would be for this as far as like actual what track you would set them out on. We're just going to do what's convenient. Let's go ahead and fly down here and take a peek. Yeah, we could put them in this track. That would be a good track to stick them in. So really, we'll probably just pull them down here. We'll probably just cut off right here. Somewhere in that area and just shove them right in. Yeah, there you go. Beautiful downtown Jacksonville in the fog there. What are these cars? Waycross. These are all Waycrosses. Yeah, those are all the pickup. We got the Atlantas on top of that. Yeah, that has to be in it. That has to be something off the Florida East Coast. You don't think about doing a lot of switching on pigs, you know, but they can actually, like, depending on the terminal, they could have a lot of block swapping and stuff like that. All right, let's see, what are we doing here? Easing on down. Go ahead and put our light on dim since we're in the yard. Don't want a blinder guy on the ground, right? Looks a lot closer up in the cab, right? When you're external, it seems like you got all the room in the world, but... All right, let's go ahead and start feathering that independent. Let's own it off. Kind of gradually getting into it and working it a little bit. We slow down a little bit. We got to pull by, right? So we're not stopping right now, but we got to pull by at least 1,000 feet, I think, give or take. Okay, we'll hop down right here. Go here so we can see a little better. So we could be like 121. Keep taking them ahead. Take them ahead about 20. Intermodal cars are always a pain. A pain to a pain to count off because like none of them are 50 feet. Like these are over 50 feet, right? They're like what, 60 feet? Somewhere in there. 89 feet for the flats. Here we got enough headroom. So I didn't label these, but I figured we would say these, of course, are Tallyrans with the international containers here, and then we'll make our FECs down to this container right there. Let it be last. I gotta make sure we don't have enough headroom on this is the question. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, we got plenty. We got plenty. Not a problem. All right, 121. Let's keep taking them ahead about 12 more. It's not like we got to get an exact stop, right? Just somewhere roughly in this area. Look at the golden pigs. Man, those were some of my absolute favorites from back in the day. And it's cool. If you look at the... it has something in the orange stripe, like a Scotch light. I can't remember what it said. Yeah, just a little further. All right, 121, about 5 more cars. 5. Let's make it 3 more. 3. One more car. 1. Start feathering that independent. Let's go ahead and stop her right here. All right, 121 anywhere in here will do. There we go. Got her stop. Let her settle a little bit. She bumping around all over the place, right? All that slack rolling around in her. There we go. Good enough. All right, let's close you. And it looks like she's going to have to give us a little slack. Put her in reverse. There, 121 into clear. Give me a little slack. Takes forever. But there's so much slack in this thing, which is crazy, right? All right, that's good. 121, take him ahead. Oh, come on. There we go. Now she's in forward. All right, take him ahead. Hopefully our pin didn't drop. Good. Yeah. There we go. Can we catch up? Can we catch up? Can we catch up? No. What is the key to catch up? I can't remember anymore. It's been like forever since I've done this. I am like super rusty. I really need to catch up anyway because we gotta walk down here and get this crossover. We'll get you. I thought it was... Is it not Q? I'm drawing a complete and total blank. I haven't switched in this game in ages. We'll just run down here. Let's let her get by a little bit so slack won't roll back out over the switch. All right, 121 I'll do right here. All right, we got both our switches. We're good with that. All right, 121 switches line into clear. Let's show them back about 20. I can't remember how to catch up. I really can't. I thought it was Q. Thought it was Q. Obviously it's not. We could look at the controls sometime. We're just too lazy to right now. Let's just get them spotted up. We got to get on with this. We got to get on with the show, guys. We're potentially running short on time. I want to say they told me it was about 12 hours every time. Like, after doing all this, right? Like, after doing all this. That would have been a super nice job, though. Knowing you're going down and coming back about the same time every day. Go down, come back, have a day off. Go down, come back, have a day off. Like, that would be all right in my book. I used to love the assigned jobs. I got to where I kind of stood for some of them. Pretty regular before I left. At least the assigned jobs that included slot rates, like no one liked those, but there. So we'll set these over, get a few handbrakes. Cut them off, swing back over, make a train solid, and get out of here. All right, one more car, 121. All right, that'll do right here, 121. All right, we'll get two to be safe. I don't know what. Probably one would be plenty, but we'll get two to be safe. Let's close you. Open the coupler. And take him ahead. All right, 121, take him to the switch. In the clear. Just have to do 3-step protection, all that mess too, but we're not doing that in game. I'm not going that far. No. No, we're not doing 3-step in game. But if you wanted to do it totally legit for back then you would do 3-step protection too. I'm trying to remember what the engineer had to do to get 3-step. What it was, reverser centered. Maybe was it reverser centered, generator filled? And what else? Gosh, I don't know. Something like that. But you'd have to do that before you went in between any cars, right? Before you got around it, or in between any kind of equipment like that. You'd have to get 3-step. I understand. It's for safety reasons, but we'll just leave it at that. They railroaded for a long time without it. It's just a dangerous job, period. Like, you know, I mean, really, they have all kind of rules and people still get hurt and killed. Probably not to the extent that they did back in the day, but so anyway, maybe we would do all this ourselves. I don't know if they'd have U-Man or utility man as like a guy on the ground that would make all your cuts and stuff for you. I don't ever remember having a CSX having a U-Man anywhere that that I worked. That's not to say they didn't. The only place I ever worked that had a U-Man was the BNSF yard. U-Man used to love working for us. He just loved helping our trade, and I'm assuming since we were a foreign road train that he probably got a lot of money for it. He probably got some extra money thrown in there because there's all different kind of codes and stuff like that. It's kind of like pusher service, right? O Cajon, if you helped a foreign line. I want to say if they pushed a foreign line train, they got like a whole nother day's pay or something like that. Maybe not that much, but it's pretty good incentive, at least for back in the day, right? So we didn't argue with it. I like the U-Man. He saved us a lot of trouble. Like in the BNSF yard, you're all the time having to double and triple over. That was really common. Double, triple over. Like I remember the U-Man helping us more leaving than I do arriving. Like arriving, I don't remember him helping us a whole lot. Sometimes he would. That was just a really chill yard. I love working in that yard. They were so cool about everything. You know, I remember one time going in and on that particular trip, we had to cut the power off. We had BNSF power. We had to cut it off and take it to the house. We had to do it from the west side of the yard, and I never did a lot on the west side of the yard. I just pulled down the main, and the way the BNSF yard was, it had two tracks and went right down the middle, right? And I guess you could kind of consider them like pseudo mains. And then it had a yard. Part of the yard was on the right-hand side and part of the yard was on the left-hand side. The part of the yard on the right-hand side was called the IC side. The Illinois Central side is from way back in the day. It's a holdover. And the left-hand side was the BN side for Burlington Northern, because it used to be a joint IC BN yard back in the day. So IC side was all your intermodal stuff, and we're going to put this thing center. We're going to center reverser and notch it a few notches. I'm not sure. I'm kind of fuzzy on this if this was a thing for the GE engines. I think it's more EMD. I want to say EMDs had a mechanical drive between the engine and the air compressor, so doing this made them pump a little bit more air. I don't think GE did though. I could be completely backwards on that. But anyway, so they had an IC and a BN side, and the IC side was for all your intermodal stuff, all things intermodal and auto rack, and the BN side was the freight side. So the shop was on the BN side. So anyway, we pulled down. The train was a run through. I don't even think we had to set out that night. I think it was just run through, but except for the power. So they're like, cut your power off and take it to the house. And I just told the yard master, I was like, dude, I have no clue like how to get to there from here. Never did anything from west side of the yard. And he's like, okay, that's no problem. He's like, all right, well, if you pull straight ahead down the main, he's like, there's the first switch you come up to is going to be a reverse switch. It's going to be a trailing point switch. He's like, go through that switch, reverse it, and then back through it. He's like, just keep backing down that track and we'll just keep easing along and we'll tell you what to do next, right? And so they just kind of guided us along the way from the tower, you know. He's like, all right, you get to this switch, throw it. And we made it to the house just fine. So they're really cool and chill about that, right? And if it had been a CSX yard, I guarantee you they would have been like, over the radio, they'd be like, you mean to tell me you don't know how to get to like that? I guarantee you they would have been that way. But you know, being a new guy on the railroad, like with only, you know, a handful of years experience, you know, 2-3 years experience, there was a lot of stuff you had no clue about. You didn't know. I even knew old heads. I knew an old head with 20 plus years of service went into a yard and they said they wanted to pull down to a certain track, cut his power off and take his power to the record track. And he was like, you got the radio, was like, I have no clue where the record track's at. Y'all gonna have to either send someone to me or tell me, like, we got to figure this out. And I want to say they kind of chastised him a little bit on the radio for that, which I never agreed with. Like, you know, don't call your dudes out over the radio. But he just told me, he's like, I've been railroad for 20 plus years and I have never heard you guys talk about the record track before, so you know, it's not my problem. So they got it sorted out. But yeah, it's kind of the way it was. Yeah, we're doing good. She's pumping up pretty good. So we just did partial, right? If we did all the way, if we opened it up all the way, it would have dumped here. So we want to kind of let it pump up a little bit. It's a little bit harder in game. Like in real life, you can kind of listen to it and just kind of I don't know, I want to say have a feel, but just kind of an idea, just listening to it and seeing what it's doing. In game, I have no clue, right? We're just having to go off the CFM. I'm just being doubly sure because I really don't want to dump this thing with 8,000 feet of train. So we're going to be doubly sure about it. We could be okay right now. Let's see where we are. She looks good there. I said putting her in 4 may not make any difference on this. I'm not sure. We'll try and see. All right, let's go ahead and we'll open it up the rest of the way. Hopefully she won't dump. Nah, she's good. She good. We'll let her keep pumping up. So I think I'm going to restart OBS because it's still giving me some trouble for some reason. So we're going to restart OBS and then we'll pick up in a second. All right, I think she's good. We should be able to catch up and start pulling out of here. So probably at some point, we'll call him mainline yard master, would be talking to the engineer, right? He'd be like, after you make your set out and get your train back together, got you lined out of the yard, whatever track, we'll have you signal, go down there looking out, you know, that sort of thing. So that's what we'll do. Go down there looking out. We need to come out of I think this is M yard. I think it's M yard. We'll double check. Yeah, that's going to be M yard. So we'll do M yard, and we got to go through that crossover there. So just kind of follow it here. So M yard through the crossover Beaver Street. Now we got to do Honeymoon Y. It's not like super easy to read, I'd imagine, if you're not like a little bit familiar with it. So we go around Honeymoon Y. You get that crossover there. We go by Carnegie, and we're already lined into the ramp, so that looks good. Let's go ahead and give ourselves a light. There it goes. It's going to take us all the way around to Honeymoon crossover. There we go. There we go. North end of Carnegie. I guess that's North Carnegie. It always kind of trips me up on the Tallahassee side. You'd think it'd be east-west, but it was actually like north-south for some reason. All right, I think we're good. What's this note right here? Only 700 feet between 643 and the 644. Oh, it's a short mile. Okay. Short mile, nice. All right, I think we're good, guys. I'm back in the cab here. Your wipers taken care of, off, and back to intermittent 1. That's our flows 43. Yeah, perfect. All right. Go back to forward. That on bright. Let's blast off out of here. And we got a slow clear waiting on us down here at Beaver Street. So good to go. All right. So we just stretched all our slack out. There's such a crazy amount of slack in these trains. It really just is. All right. So we'll drag her out of here. We're now 8098. So we almost hit 1,000 feet out. Not quite. 5921 tons. And it's 15 mile an hour track. We're going to do 10. This is a yard track. I would do 10. I mean, any in this game, it don't really matter that much, but it just depends on what you want to do, right? Yeah, we need a bunch of butt heads down here. That is definitely something I need. We need a bunch of butt heads, like little busy bees all over the place doing their thing. Moncrief's cool terminal to work out of in game, especially with Baldwin added in. Baldwin adds a lot to it. Actually have a lot of transfers and stuff like that. Doing all the auto rack sorting at Baldwin. It was like the last video I was talking about that. I was like, Baldwin had a bunch of auto rack trains going out of there. And you always wonder, like, how did they get down there? Because there wasn't nearly as many auto rack trains going south as there was going north. Like 215 to Moncrief, 245 every once in a while to Moncrief in place of 215. I think 213 went to Tampa, and then what was the one that went to Taft? Like 235 or 237, and I think that one was kind of off and on because they ran a crap load of auto racks down there on 455. So I think the auto racks that came out of there, probably like a bunch of them funneled down there on slot rates, and then they just kind of funneled back to Baldwin, and then they put them in unit trains and set them north out of there, maybe. There's XQ1 2115's got a slow clear Beaver Street, 923 south out. So yeah, we'll ease through Beaver Street here, and then got to pull through that 10 at Honeymoon. That's going to suck. So yeah, I do. I think that's how a lot of those auto racks, like, it's nothing to have big blocks of auto racks in slot rates, and you don't really think about those, but I mean, those got to go somewhere. All right, there we go. Bye, Beaver Street. There's a really old video on YouTube of them taking a train through here from the cab. That's a cab ride video. And back in the day, back in the 80s, this was all like restricted. The best signal you could get through here was restricted, or restricting. Ugh, we got a lot of train drag through here, that's for sure. All right, so straight out ahead would be the FEC. I want to say back then the FEC CSX would take a block to them, and the FEC would bring their block to us for whatever reason. Then the NS would come through here as well too, with their blocks. That was like some FEC power right there. Right, yeah, it is. We really need, I thought FEC back in the day had a bunch of 4-axle power, like GP40s or GP40, I think it's GP40s maybe. Man, those would be nice. I'd love a GP40 pack. There's a lot of old school, like there's so many old school schemes that we could do that they haven't even really scratched the surface. You know, like 50 bazillion different CSX schemes from back in the day. A lot of the predecessor railroads. Tons of Rent-A-Wrecks. I think an FEC GP40 would be pretty nice, though. Take the GP42 pack, backdate it to a GP40. All right, well, let's get through this 10. It's gonna take us 3 days to get through here. We're gonna kind of fudge it a little bit. Let's head to Duval. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna bring your power back. I think we're gonna leave the power at Duval. I think we're gonna say we went dead, like we don't have time. We'll let a yard job do that. There's our 30. There you go. Let's count this off. All right, so this is S-Line. Going out to Baldwin in the Tallahassee sub. It has a lot more purpose out here now that they added that stuff in. Tallahassee sub goes all the way to... let's go back. Where's Tallahassee? There it is, to Sanderson. So you got Baldwin and McClinney, and then Sanderson. That was a good addition. That was a good addition. It's worth it just to have from Callahan down to Baldwin that way. That absolutely, that was a really good addition. All right, CSX Q12115's got a clear honeymoon crossover 1923 south out. Let's start pulling over pretty good because you're dragging us down through that curve. Yeah, Baldwin was actually, that was a really good addition. There's so much stuff you could add, you know. It's like it's just almost infinite the amount of stuff you could add. You know, S-Line would be great. That'd be nice to have. Lakeland sub, go all the way to Tampa. Tampa would be nice. Bone Valley is the one I'm big on. I'd love to see the Bone Valley just because the amount of traffic that came out. Like, that's the traffic generator for Florida. You know, if you think about tonnage that moved out of Florida, there wasn't a lot. There wasn't a great deal of tonnage coming out of Florida. It was, like I said, it was kind of unbalanced as far as loads going in versus loads coming out. But your phosphate coming out of the Bone Valley, that's where your tonnage is at. All that phosphate. And they had so many different mine jobs down there too, like taking it, you know, wet rock to the processors and dry rock and unit trains and sulfur trains going down there for the processing. Like, there's so much that went on with that. They had all the other regular industries down there on top of that too, you know, agricultural stuff. They did some pulpwood down there in that part of Central Florida. Yeah, they did a lot down there. Looks like they've added a little more scenery down here, right? Which is pretty nice. Yeah, that's pretty nice that they added that. I don't think this stuff was here. Maybe I think it had a little bit of stuff here, but not like a whole heck of a lot. Let's keep going. So the other cool thing about this stretch through here is right over here off to the left used to be West Jack's Yard. That was SAL Yard here in Jacksonville. Pretty big deal back in the day. It had a turntable and a shop and a bunch of tracks. It started phasing out over the years, you know. They started consolidating to Moncrief and Baldwin, but West Jack's is pretty cool. A little bit left there. The coolest thing about West Jack's to me is right after I hired out, we came down here for a week or two. I want to say it's probably 1 week. It might have been 2, but I think it was 1. And they had a little spot off the yard down here that we worked at. We had a butt head and about 6 cars, box cars and hoppers. It had a chip hopper. I definitely remember the chip hopper because it had the high mounted handbrake on it. And we would switch those cars around, hang on them. You had to hang on them for so long. To climb them. I maybe we did a knuckle on them too. I can't remember if we did a knuckle on those or not. I kind of think we did, but I'm not certain on that. But yeah, we just played with freight cars down there for about a week at night, every night. And it was McDuff Avenue. It should have been right off this road. Right off McDuff Avenue. That's also where the dispatch center would be, like right back over here on the other side of the road. Like they got someone tied down right here, looks like. Yeah, that's cool. They got someone tied down at industrial lead. Looks like a coal train, some kind of hoppers. It could be rock, I guess. Hey, well, we're almost through the 10. We got a little ways to go. We get through this, we'll go over here and look and see if it has a spot where we did our stuff at. All right, there we go. All right, let's fly over here. Let's look. So if this is the right spot that I'm thinking of, the dispatch center would be like right in here. There was another road that went like along this tree line here, I guess, about, and this would have been the dispatch center. And then I want to say this may be the track, like kind of the area where we worked at. It came off the end of the yard like that. Like this was the yard, the bulk of the yard through here. They had way more tracks than this back in the day. It had shops. I want to say the turntable was down here somewhere, maybe. All that stuff was over here. So yeah, I think this may have been the track. It looks like they got it set up as an industry now, but that may have been the one that we worked on. All right, we should be getting close to getting out of that 10. Got a little bit. Yeah, West Jacks was kind of a big deal back in the day. They did a lot of they did some locomotive work down here too. Is that rock or is that coal? Looks like coal. Yeah, they got a coal train tied down. So that's cool. That's actually a really good spot to tie one down. Like, you know, I mentioned before in a previous video that I remember seeing them in West Jacks tied down, especially the Seminole trains. But West Jacks did some rebuild stuff. If you guys, I don't know if y'all are familiar with the GP16 rebuild program that they did back in the late 70s and early 80s, where they took a lot of the GP7s and a few of the GP9s and rebuilt them. So basically what they did is they chopped the nose on them. They made them a short nose, gave them new cat, they gave them an AAR stand, new traction motors, I want to say maybe a new generator, new electronics. That they just kind of updated them, right? And then they used them as use them on a lot of locals. I mean, they use them on road freights too, but they use them on a lot of locals and stuff like that. Pretty cool locomotive. Another one that would be awesome to have in game because they had zero dynamics. No dynamics on those. So I've heard old head engineers talking about taking 8,000 tons of pulpwood and wood chips and all this other stuff down the main and having one of those in the head end and only being able to use the air. There was no dynamics. That'd be a challenge. I'd love that. Why is it still 10? We should be in at 30. Like, I don't understand. There we go. Now we can go with it. So anyway, when they rebuild those are known as the U-seater rebuilds. So the bulk of the rebuild was done down in Tampa at UCETA. But I want to say West Jacks definitely did the traction motors. They rewound the traction motors, and maybe they did generator stuff for that too. And I want to say Waycross did the painting. So they sent their undecorated units up to Waycross and had them painted up there. So it was like multiple places worked on that rebuild program. Pretty cool program. I'm a huge fan of the GP16s. I remember them as a kid. I don't know if you guys would remember those, but I definitely do. I think the last GP16 I ever saw was about 93. I think that's when they finally got rid of them. So they got about 10 more years out of them after the rebuild program. You're talking about locomotives that were bought in the 50s, bought brand new in the 50s. So they ran about 30 years stock and then got rebuilt and got about another 10 years out of them. Pretty good deal. All right, so we're coming by Carnegie here. I think that's Carnegie, right? Yeah, that's gonna be Carnegie. Yeah, coal train tied down there. That is a good spot. That would be good, a really good spot for the SEMX trains, the Seminole trains. And so we got 30 and 2.3. I think that's where we're going in at Duval. This is the north end of Cart. Okay, so it's the opposite way. I was thinking the north end was on the other end, but it's opposite. Yeah, that always messes me up. It just doesn't make sense. Really, in my mind, it should be east-west. You know, it should be an east-west railroad. That's where it predominantly goes. It goes west to Mobile. XQ 12115's got a clear north end of Carnegie, 9023 south out. There, yeah, we'll get her up to 30. We'll just kind of ease along down there. Carnegie's going to be a control siding, so restricting in. I think my next Run 8 series I do might be some streams. Some of y'all asked about streams. I streamed off Nona in the past. I try to stream more. I want to stream more, but man, it's just... Spur's day-to-day routine is just not very conducive to like streaming. It's just really just not. I wish I could more. I would love it. I hate editing. That's like my least favorite part of the whole thing. I hate editing videos. If you stream, you don't have to worry about that. But I got to approach medium. JSX Q12115's got to approach medium south end of Carnegie. 9023 south out. This is going to be the distant to Duval. Pretty cool though. Some more of those double mass signals, right? You see those a lot on it. There's a whole bunch of them down at Baldwin. Yeah, those are cool. I dig those a lot. Yeah, it looks like we got a medium approach down here. Question is, more than likely, I don't know for sure, but I'm going to say this is a 25-mile-an-hour switch. I just know in my experience, very few of the switches that we had were good for 30. You would get a medium in, like that's what you got, but like you had to do 25 because of the switch. So it's like, it's one of those little like side note details that you needed to know. But just because I got to approach, you know, a medium aspect into this siding doesn't mean I can do medium. I got to do 25. We'll do 25. It could very well be 30. It's hard to say. We'll do 27 or 28 is a good in between. So it looks like they just call this north leg of the Y. Is there a speed restriction to this? I kind of wondered down here. You know what? We're going to slow down a little more. I'm kind of iffy on this. CSX Q12115 has got a medium approach. North leg of the Y. Duval. 9023 south out. Yeah, let's... I don't think it's a 10. I think it's faster on this end than the other side, but I don't know if it's 30. This looks pretty dang, like, pretty sharp going through here, honestly. Yeah, this looks pretty sharp going through here. I need to pull my Jack's timetable out. I need to find that thing. It's around here somewhere. Look at it. See what it was like in 03. Now you talk about not doing something in a really long time. This is something I have not done in ages. Let's go this way. Yeah, that's been a really long time. I haven't, like, most of the stuff I've done in Jacksonville for years and years has been like run through stuff. I've done very little in the actual like terminal. I didn't see any diamond boards back there, so maybe what's the track? It says 30, so that just seemed really kind of sharp coming off of there to me. All right, well, let's go to the ramp. What was this yard called? Pritchard Yard or something like that. I guess this is the technical name for it. We can't get on it too much anyway. We got this 10 up here. We'll have a restricting going in. This is a place I want to say, I was talking about in the last video, I want to say this could have potentially been Waycross way back in the early 70s when they were getting ready to do that. I want to say this is one of the areas that they looked at for doing a hump yard. I think Waycross is by far the best choice with all the different lines coming in there. Especially when they built it. There was way more lines going into Waycross when they built it than what there are now, but yeah, I don't see our signal yet. So basically what we're hanging on to now is our Orlandos and our Tampas. Today would take these and break them up and put them into those trains. The Orlando Pig, whatever that was. And the Tampa Pig. I don't know what they did for Miami. Maybe I don't know. I don't know how they did Miami. I guess there was no intermodal traffic on CSX going to Miami because of FEC. They probably had all that. Yeah, it looks like they did a little more scenery out here too. This was always kind of a barren area. All right, kill that. Where is our restricting? I think that's it right there. And we need to look at like how we're going to get into the yard down here. I guess I should have looked at the depot map. Let's see, we go in. Should have gone into the other track. I'm not sure. Yeah, we could go in this way. This way would be fine. I think really. I think we're just going to go in straight. We can't. Yeah, we can't. Well, we might could take it straight to the ramp. It is 121, right? Yeah, we'll take it into the ramp. I think we're clear up here. Yeah, we're good. We'll take it in ourselves. This thing may not fit. Yeah, it may not fit. It may not. Yeah, we better just take her the other way. We'll just go straight down the main. We'll just go straight in that way. We'll let the yard guys deal with it, right? It's their problem. Not mine. We're fixing to go dead. We just got to get down here and tie her down. Tie her down. Be done with it. Through lane. So really the NS yard should just be just over here to the east a little bit, not very far. Honestly, I don't know where they did their pig stuff down here. Did they do their pig stuff at Simpson? Did they have a ramp there? I don't know. I don't know what they did. There's XQ 121, 15, he's got a restricting lane. 923 south out. So you talk to Duval, they at some point you would talk to, I have no clue on that, where you would talk to them at or whatever, but you would talk to them and they would give you your yarding instructions, right? Yeah, it is 10 mile an hour. Oh, it is 10 mile an hour coming up in here. Where our bottom's hanging out at. We've just now cleared up at Duval connection. All right, we're finally getting into Pritchard Yard. Jack's Ramp, Duval, whatever you want to call it. We're finally getting there. I don't know, like I don't know how they yarded these trains. I really don't. Maybe we should have gone in on the other track. We're just going to do the easiest thing. I think we could have some leeway because we are the Q121. So there's other hot trains that came in here. Like I think some of the Philadelphia or Baltimore trains, some of those trains that went up that way, up the Atlantic coastline, the ACL route, they were pretty hot too. If not, maybe a little hotter than this one. But either way, we're going to take a little leeway on that. What does it say? It's all jumbled up. I can't tell what it says. Ramp east pass, ramp west pass, west lead. So it looks like the west ramp lead is going down the middle, and then they got a pass and a pass. Yeah, I don't know much of anything about this yard, to be honest. I don't even think I've really looked at it on Google Earth. Like sometimes I like to I study anything on a map. I like looking at maps, but either way, we'll go down here, we'll tire down somewhere, we'll say we're dead. Our 12 hours is up. Tire down on the spot. Yeah, there'd be a bunch of butt heads over here too. As far as switchers. Yeah, I need to check this out on Google Earth. I need to look at it. What's going on? Look at some of the historical ones. Like the historical maps, the satellite images. So yeah, usually if you went dead, you just tie down on the spot. I remember one time where we kept moving after hours of service because we were in a location that no one could get to us on a siding. So we basically we tied our train down and cut the power off and went to a road crossing where someone could get to us. I want to say when I put us off, I had to do some kind of notation about that or something. Maybe I can't remember. It was never a thing. Like it wasn't a thing, but the only time we ever moved after 12 hours or over 12 hours that for me for sure, that was the only time. Why is there a whistle post there? There's no crossing. Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with that. We're not going to honor that though. Oh, guys, picture the road up here to the bridge. We get the alerter more right here than the entire 275 miles of running we did. That's a little bit barren in here. It's a little bit. We're going to stop it down here on the south end and call it. There's really just not much more to this. Oh, there's a road crossing. I see it now. I see you. I see you. Hearts up. Feathering this independent. We'll park her up right here off this switch. Right up here off this side, because I want to use this as, I think I will use this as a screenshot. I may not use it in the thumbnail, but Right about here, guys. That's all to do right here. That'll do right here. Oh, got a little wheel slip there on that. Good enough. All right. That's going to do it for this one. This is the grand finale of our hottest of hot intermodal. Down the Fitz, down part of the Jessup, down part of the Nahuna. 275 miles running, 7 videos. Probably at least 7 hours, if not closer to 8, if not over that. I'll have to figure it up sometime and see. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. Love all of you. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe. Catch the playlist if you haven't watched the others, and we'll see you next time. Peace. No, big cat. No. Stop. Oh, no, kitty. Oh, that's a MiG. That's a MiG over us. Okay. It's the weirdest day ever. Oh, no. He just fell. He just fell.